With drones becoming more and more prevalent, you're probably watching this video because you're looking to buy your first drone, and luckily you came to the right place. Let's jump into it. Number one, and I have to get this out of the way, do not spend $100 or $200 or $300 on a cheap Amazon drone. You will quickly hate drones. You will likely lose that drone because it'll fly away from you. The hardware will be terrible. The software will be terrible. You will end up with a horrible taste in your mouth. And I can promise you, you will never fly a drone ever again. Now that we got that out of the way, and now that you know that you're gonna have to spend some money on this thing, let's jump into what your options are. So today we're gonna be focusing on DJI drones, which is all of the drones you see up here. All 5 of them. All I fly is DJI drones. DJI is the drone king. They ship the most drones, consumer-wise, professional-wise. Their hardware is awesome. Their software works really well. It is a drone that is going to be reliable for you. So the first 2 drones that I'm going to address in this video are the DJI Mini series drones. This is going to be your best bet at not breaking the bank, but getting a reliable drone that also delivers great video and picture quality. This right here is the DJI Mini 2, which I do own and have a lot of experience flying. And I'm also going to be talking about the DJI Mini 3, which just came out, that I have not yet gotten my hands on. The reason why I'm going to talk about these 2 drones together is because these 2 drones are going to deliver you the highest quality videos and photos without breaking the bank. And spec-wise, they're very similar. There's just a few key differences between the 2 and the 3. So let's get started with battery life. Both of these drones have a half-an-hour battery life. This is great because when I first started flying drones, it was with this guy up here, this white Phantom, and it had a Wi-Fi camera. It had a battery life of about 10 minutes. If you would have showed this to me when I got that drone 7 years ago, I would have thought this was insane. So just saying, this is an incredible drone for its price. This is about a $400 drone. That drone right there was like $800 or $900 when I bought it and is nowhere near the quality of this drone. So what is similar between the Mini 2 and the Mini 3? Well, first of all, they both shoot 4K at 60 frames per second video, which is beautiful quality. They both take beautiful looking photos, although the Mini 3 does take a lot nicer photos with its 48 megapixel camera versus this 12 megapixel camera. But when I say that both drones take nice photos, they do. I've seen both drones, and obviously this one I've had plenty of experience with. Battery life is a half an hour on both drones. Now, both the Mini 2 and Mini 3 are under 249 grams, which means if you're flying recreationally, you technically do not have to register these drones to the FAA. So under $1,000 for a drone of this quality is awesome. So we're gonna jump from this little guy here, the Mini 2 and Mini 3, to something much, much more substantial. And I'm kind of gonna group a drone in that I don't own with this drone, and I'll explain why. This right here is the DJI Mavic 3. This is the drone you're going to want if you're a professional. And once you get the settings down with the photos and the video, this thing is a beast. Now, I do have the DJI Mavic 2 Pro up here, which is now discontinued. If you find those used online, I do not recommend buying them. I could make a whole video on why you should not buy a used Mavic 2 Pro, but the Mavic 3 is the way to go. It has a 45-minute battery life, which realistically is about 35 minutes, at least for me out here in the desert of Arizona. It takes 4K at 60 frames per second video and 5K at 30 frames per second video. It also has the capability of shooting slow motion at up to 120 frames per second. It features 2 cameras on the front. One is a wide angle camera and one is a telephoto lens. The telephoto lens obviously allows you to get zoomed in photos, which I don't think are that great, but it does allow you to get zoomed in video, which I think when you zoom into 7 times looks really nice. And I do include it in client projects that I do. This drone is very customizable with its settings. It's basically like a professional camera in the sky. The controls are rock solid. It maintains a beautiful connection with my remote, which I do use the DJI RC Pro. I'll leave a link to that video in the description below. Now, this drone right here is going to run you about $2,000 to $3,000, maybe even $4,000, depending on which package you get. They have just the drone itself with the basic remote, then they have a Fly More combo, and then they have a Cine version, which is like a Hollywood level production drone. Most people aren't going to need that. It has 1 terabyte internal storage for those super large Apple ProRes files. This right here is the Fly More kit version of the DJI Mavic 3. It's basically the same as the lower, cheaper version. Just the only difference is this drone came with a bunch of accessories that the other version doesn't come with. So that was really the only difference. Honestly, no matter which way you go, whether you go with a standard Mavic 3 or the Cine version Mavic 3, I think you're gonna be really, really impressed with how it flies, with the quality of the media that comes out of it. And it's just a solid and reliable drone packed with technology. And I have a lot of different videos here on the channel about this drone. So definitely make sure to check those out. Now, a drone that's in between this is the DJI Air2S. It's in between this and the Mini 2 and Mini 3 that I showed you, but it does also shoot 4K at 60 frames per second, and it shoots 5K video along with beautiful photos that are actually very comparable to the Mavic 3 and the Mavic 2 Pro up here. So honestly, for professional work, if you didn't want to break the bank with the Mavic 3 here, you could totally check out the Air2S. I definitely think it's a solid drone. Now, in case you're wondering, this other drone I have up here, this right here is the DJI FPV drone. This is kind of more of a fun drone, but it does shoot 4K at 60 frames per second, although its sensor is a little bit small. I definitely think you should steer away from this, and you should definitely go with more of a quadcopter like this, or, you know, if you're not trying to break the bank, the Mini 2 over here. But anyway, guys, that is my recommendation on which DJI drones you should be looking at in 2022. If this video helped you out at all, please definitely make sure to hit the subscribe button and notification bell. That way you're updated when I create new videos. And also make sure to give this video a thumbs up. That way it ranks higher in the algorithm for me. But until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.